I decided to do my presentation on the article The Kizaemon Reconsidered. The author of this article is Louise Allison Court, and Louise Allison Court is a curator of ceramics at the Freer Gallery of Art and Arthur M. Stafford Gallery at the Smithsonian Institution. Her interests include historical and contemporary ceramics in Japan, Southeast Asia, and South Asia, Japanese baskets and textiles, and the Japanese art of tea, which is Cha-no-yu. In 2012, she received the 33rd Kiyoma Ugyo Memorial Prize for research on historical and contemporary Japanese ceramics and the Smithsonian Distinguished Scholar Award. In this paper, Court wants to reconsider the making of the Kizaemon Bowl and the framework of Yagami Kyoto, who wrote the Kizaemon Bowl. We know that Yagami and his writing style, and we also know about how he has history of scholarly work that involved the common people and how they made their own bowls. Some terms in this paper are Chanoryu, which is a Japanese ceremony consisting of the serving and taking of tea in accordance with an elaborate ritual. Wabi, a quality of serene beauty expressing a mood of spiritual solitude recognized in Zen Buddhist philosophy. Ito, which means well as in where you get water from, and then temaku, a type of Japanese pottery and porcelain that originates in imitating Chinese stoneware janeware. And then bowls before the time of the Kizaemon bowl, most were stoneware that local farmers made for practical needs for the working people and the people back then in the elite society like the Chinese. Then bowls that were perfectly symmetrical and that were imported to them. And then here is the Kizaemon bowl. And then Yagami's point of view. Yagami did not like how there was a ranking of the kinds of bowls, like Ito and then Raku and then Ratsu. If you have a predetermined notion and knowledge about looking at one of the bowls, then you're not actually seeing it as what the object is. You see it as how it is perceived and described by other people. And when you stop looking at it from that point of view, you can see it and it can communicate with your heart by just looking at it. He also wanted the bowl. He also wanted to see the bowl so that he could see if his notion of just looking at the bowl and not knowing the history of it would make a bigger impact on him. And then once he was able to see it in person, he thought it was a well-made bowl, but it was very ordinary in how it looked and how it was built, compared to how much grandeur that the people around him would talk about the bowl. Um, He also already knew of folk pottery, which is the pottery that the commoners made. And so he studied that before he ever saw the kizaemon bowl and was able to use that as well when looking back on seeing the bowl. And then he knew about the pottery that the common people made while the Japanese occupied Korea in 1910. He was also able to look at the bowl and think of how Korean pottery was that was not Chanryu was stained by the Japanese, especially for when they wanted people for their ceremonies. And then while reading this article, I thought that it was really well written and it was easily readable for anyone who wanted to educate themselves on this uh, famous bowl. And the first part of the article was a really good refresher of the history behind the bowl and the history of how the names of the different types of bowls came to be. And she was really good at using Yanagi's own writing to back up her claims about how he was able to look past the grandeur of the bowl and all the built up tension of how great it was and was able to see what the bowl truly was. And then there is my bibliography, and that's it.